W5 is celebrating 50 years of investigative journalism. Joining us now, a man who has had a front row seat to almost every major news event over the past 4 decades, veteran broadcaster Lloyd Robertson. Good morning, Lloyd.
Good morning, Stephanie.
So tell us about this anniversary special.
Well, we are celebrating 50 years this month for W5. Now, we've been celebrating the 50th season for a year now. So now we've taken all the stories we've done over the last 50 years. We've done a lot of sifting, and I mean a lot, to try to find stories that we can put in context for people. That is what it meant at the time the stories were being done. We're not just doing a review, you know, this happened in 72, this happened in 81, etc. We're trying to do them according to topics. And we start off in Toronto at Nathan Phillips Square, 1966, 1 year after a horrific incident at the University of Texas, where a young man, a gunman, took to the bell tower there and shot dead 42 people in one afternoon. And that story was resonating all over the place when W5 came on the air. So at that time, they did something very bold for that day, and I don't think you'd get away with it today. They commissioned a young man to carry a rifle past police at the entrance to Toronto City Hall and get up to the observation tower. He did that. He got up there. He didn't shoot, naturally. But the question was, could such a thing happen in Canada? Yes, it could. And this how easy it was to go out and buy a gun and use it if you really wanted to. So that set off how bold and provocative W5 was going to be. And audiences liked that. And the show kept that for a long time, kept that going, and to this day keeps that going, because we do a lot of investigative reporting, but of course we also do a lot of other things. We do celebrities and personalities of the day, we do medical stories, we do legal stories, and we do what are called unscheduled interviews by the legal department. We call them jumps. You see Victor Malarick occasionally chasing the corrupt funeral director across the parking lot, those kinds of things, trying to nail people down who really don't want to talk to W5. Now, I've been doing W5 more regularly for the last 5 years, having done 41 years on national newscasts from 1970 until 2011. So W5 to me was a great event because I was able to concentrate on longer stories more in depth, because you know what it's like in news. You're doing a minute 20, you're doing 2 minutes at the most. On shows like W5, you were able to get into a story and handle it as you saw fit.
Now, you are passing the torch as host to Kevin Newman. Do you have any words of wisdom for him?
Well, I think Kevin will do what he's already said he would do. That is, this show has succeeded because we've always dealt with the issues and the celebrities and the personalities and the characters of a generation. So he will be dealing now with this generation and the kind of things that it's been doing. We'll also be much more involved on the internet. We'll be opening our video to YouTube. He'll be on Twitter a lot. And these are things which W5 has decided it wants to do. It wants to get more out there. And, you know, having said that we do generational things, I mean, W5 has broken stories which have had effects on our culture through the years. For example, we were the first ones in North America to do the AIDS story. When everybody thought AIDS you could get just by breathing the air around someone. Couldn't do it. There had to be an exchange of fluids. And our correspondent, Dennis McIntosh, went to New York and into what was called a shooting gallery for heroin addicts. And he saw them exchanging needles. And that turned out to be the no-no, because AIDS was about exchanging fluids, and that became the subject of the next couple of years, and people learned what AIDS was really about through programs like W5. Also on this show, coming up this Saturday, you'll see Justin Trudeau visit Glacier Park, the Crookedy Glacier in British Columbia. Tom Clark took him out there. He was one of our hosts at the time. And Justin revisited the site where his brother Justin had died in an avalanche in 1998. His body was never found. And Justin sinks into the snow in the avalanche and cries, and you can hear him crying. We also have the first interview with Margaret Trudeau after she revealed that she was mentally ill. And Carol Taylor, who did the interview, tells a very interesting story about that, which I'll leave as a teaser because it's the kind of thing that you don't want to reveal before it gets to air because it may make some news. So all those kinds of things, and celebrities like John Lennon's on the show with part of his interview. And much of what you'll see on W5 on Saturday night will also be available on the web in longer form afterwards. For example, the Margaret Trudeau interview will run for a full 45 minutes. The full John Lennon-Yoko Ono interview will run. And we'll also have some of Victor Malarich's famous jumps, chasing after people. And we'll also show another element, which was very popular in the show at the time, when Eric Malling took over as host in the 90s. And he did a story on deficit financing, which made governments all over the world sit up and take notice because that was the topic of the time, that you couldn't just spend if you were in government. You had to control your finances. And we learned that in Canada, too. In 1995, Paul Martin brought in his famous deficit budget.
Definitely some incredible stories from the past, many more to come in the future. Thank you so much, Lloyd. The special airs Saturday, September 24th, 5 p.m. here in Saskatchewan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and good luck to all in Saskatoon. Great place. Love it.
Thank you, Lloyd.